Hey everyone, let me show you guys how to convert from one metric measurement to another one. It's actually very easy, and I have to admit it's way easier than using the standard imperial system that is currently being used by the US. So let's take a look. I have the same diagram or chart that we had in our notes, but now I'm going to show you how to use it to make those conversions. So we're going to start by looking at the base unit right here. All right, so let's go ahead and say that we want to say if I have 1 meter, how many centimeters does that equal? So what we have to do is we're going to start at the meter and we're going to jump to the centimeters. So we're going to jump 1, 2. Notice that we jumped towards the right. This side is the right side of our chart. And notice that we made 2 jumps in order to get there. So what we have to do is make our decimal in our original number move 2 jumps to the right. Well, if you look at 1 meter, I don't see a decimal. Do you see a decimal? Well, if you don't see a decimal, you have to remember that the decimal is actually right behind the main number. So I'm going to take my decimal, I'm going to move it 2 places to the right, and then I'm going to fill that in with zeros. 1, 2. So 1 meter is actually equal to 100 centimeters. Good, that wasn't so hard. Let's try move the other direction. We move to the right here. Let's try move to the left and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to use a different color here. Let's say I want to know that I have 1 meter. So I'm going to just put 1 decimal for right now. And we know that we are moving 1, 2, 3 jumps to get to the kilos. So 1 meter is equal to how many kilometers, right? And so what we have to do is we have to move that decimal 3 jumps towards the left. 1, 2, 3. And now the decimal is here instead. And we put zeros for place markers right there. And we get 0 decimal, because we should always put a 0 before the decimal, 0 decimal 001. So 1 meter is equal to 0.00 kilometers, or 1,000th of a kilometer. Well, what about if we want to go the other direction? So let's say that I'm starting with kilometers. So let's say I have, I don't know, I'm going to change it actually. I'm going to say 2.5 kilometers. How many meters is that? So I just take my, I start at kilometers and I want to go to meters. Let's tell me how many jumps do I go? 1, 2, 3 jumps, but this time I'm going in the direction of right. So let's get rid of this here just to get out of the way. And we're going to go ahead, whoops. We're going to go ahead and move this 3 spots to the right. 1, 2, 3. I have to make zeros for place markers. So 2.5 kilometers is equal to 2,500 meters. So that's fairly simple. Either way you go, just look at what direction you're going and how many jumps you had to make. But what about if we have to go, let's say we're not going or starting with the base unit here. Maybe we're going someplace else. So let's take a look. What if I want to go from the hectometer and I want to go all the way to the millimeter? Okay, let's see how much that's going to be. So I'm just going to do easy numbers. So 1 hectometer. Okay, and we notice here that the abbreviation for hectometer is H. So I'm going to put 1.0 HM, capital HM. And how many millimeters do we need to go? So how many jumps is that? Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the right. So now we're going to do that. I'm going to pick another color. Let's go ahead and erase this, get this out of the way. And let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our decimal is now here, jumps to the right. And let's fill in our spaces with zeros. And I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 100,000 millimeters. So basically that's how you do this. That's how you use this chart. Hopefully you guys can get the grasp of that. So if you have any questions after this, make sure you ask.